I fucked up in 2025 and it directly affected my business. And in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 biggest mistakes that I'd made in 2025, which led to me not reaching our goals for the year. If we have not yet met, my name is Daniel Botero. I'm the founder of Opni. I've been in the career coaching industry for over 10 years. And I help career coaches grow from inconsistent income to 10K to 80K plus months by building high converting offers, a winning LinkedIn strategy, and scalable backends guaranteed. So if you're a career coach ready to take your career coaching business to the next level, then these videos are for you. Before I dive into the 5 steps, I want to give you a little bit of context on why I'm making this video and why am I speaking from a place of been there, done that. Now, I've been in business for over 7 years full time and over 10 years in total, and I've been able to grow my business from struggling $20,000, $30,000 a year to doing over 7 figures in sales a year. Now, I'm used to my business growing to 2 to 3x, doubling and tripling year after year. But last year, that was not the case. My business only grew around 10%, even though I'm used to doubling and tripling. And when I go and analyze this, when I had a whole team meeting and we're doing yearly planning and we analyze the data and say, hey, what went right, what went wrong, it was very clear that a lot of things went wrong, and a lot of simple, stupid mistakes that seem very obvious and common sense were truly not common practice for me. And even a lot of the things that we teach our clients, we weren't following ourselves, which led to our business essentially stalling for growth. So what you're about to see in the next 5 ups or mistakes or learning lessons are what those mistakes are. Now, what I want to do is share with you what was the up, what was the reason that it went wrong, what is the lesson there, and what you can do to change that so it doesn't happen to you. So let's get started. Mistake number 1. I over-focus on our new program, the LinkedIn Coaches Accelerator, ignoring our core program, Accelerator Pro. And I want to dive into this and why this is important and why this is an easy mistake to make and one that you can avoid. So essentially, our core offering is called Accelerator Pro, which we're renaming to the coach's operating system, so the operating OS. And in that program, our core program, it's essentially a 9-month program where we help implement systems and processes to grow your business. Now, that is where we have been growing. That's where our testimonials are. That is the growth. But in 2025, early 2025, I had the opportunity to partner with still my business partners, Adam Broda and Reno Perry, and we saw an opportunity in the marketplace to develop a program to teach coaches and consultants LinkedIn and to be able to monetize their knowledge, right? So corporate professionals to be able to monetize their knowledge. Now, career coaches fall into that place, but we thought about the opportunity to build in this group program that was a lot more scalable and technically more profitable. And that where majority of our efforts comes to. Now, it is not wrong to build a second offering, and it's not wrong to see an opportunity in the marketplace. That's not the mistake. The mistake was that over 80% of my time, my team time, my marketing team's time went into promoting, developing, generating leads. All of our focus, our resources, our time, money, and resource and efforts was all going towards this new program, ignoring our core offering. Now, why is this a mistake? Because when we look at the end of the year, we realize that 80% of our revenue and even over 80% of our profits come from the core offering of the operating system, yet 80% of our time was spent in the new offering. That was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake to start a new offer. What was a mistake is having so much of our attention focused on trying to get clients for the new offer and ignoring that clients of the core offering, which are 2 different buyer personas or client personas. In one end, our level entry program, our LCA, is meant to be for brand new coaches. So people who are thinking about starting to be a coach. There are people that are starting, that are doing less than $10,000 a month in revenue and cannot afford a 20K plus program. Now, there's a lot more of those people, but they pay a lot less. So you need 4 people to replace 1 core client. Now, because of all of our attention, all of our marketing efforts were going to that, it created a very confusing message in my LinkedIn and in all my marketing strategies, which led to less clients joining the pro. Now, we got a lot of clients for the LCA, but that did not make up all the clients that we could have gotten if we would have focused on the pro. So this is actually a lesson that I should have known, because when I worked at PepsiCo for 6 years, we always talked about creating the planogram based on the sales of the thing. So if Doritos, which I worked at Frito-Lay, right? If Doritos were 50% of the sales of the store, then Doritos should have 50% of the aisle. And that is very common sense, right? Like if 90% of your sales is Doritos, you should focus 90% of your attention there. And sometimes you can even create space for innovation or for new ideas, but you shouldn't allocate 80% of your budget, 80% of your resource, 80% of your time into a bet that you don't even know if it's going to work or not. And I think that's the mistake there. It's like we have a program that's generating very, very good results for our clients. That our clients are happy, that are staying with us for a long time. And we know that there's an opportunity in the marketplace for a smaller program, yet starting the program, the new product is not wrong, but shifting 80% of that time to the new program, that was a mistake. And I think we let the excitement of a new shiny object thing get us messed up in what it should have been. It should have just been maybe 10 to 20% of our time, money, and efforts allocated towards that product. Now, how does this relate to you? If you're a career coach, if you're just starting out, I still think, like, I'm very bullish on the idea of having one buyer persona or one ICP, ideal customer profile, one marketing channel, which should be LinkedIn, and one offer, right? You shouldn't even be thinking about a secondary or a third offer until you're doing 40 to 50 plus thousand, maybe even $100,000 a month, right? And so if you are if you're right now thinking, hey, 2026, new year, let me create a new offer, new product, maybe a low ticket item or even a higher ticket item, I would have you think about this, have cautious in this decision, because it could be very appealing, new shiny object thing, new shiny object syndrome. The woman in the red dress. We're gonna want to do this, but if you take attention on what's working, or even on the main core one high ticket offer, you will actually waste more time and it will come ineffective. And I've seen this time and time again when I see career coaches that are just starting, are still working full time, don't have a VA, don't have a team, don't have a huge amount of time, and they want to do everything. Because if you make everything a priority, nothing is a priority. So lesson number one is focus your attention on one core offer before moving on to the second one. And if your business is we're doing over $60,000, $70,000, or even it's a 7-figure a year business like mine, that you have a team and you have resources and you have the opportunity to create a second product like we did. Again, creating the second product was not a bad idea. The bad idea is how much resources we allocated versus how much we should have, because the return on investment wasn't there. Is that you should focus, that you should only allocate 20 to 25% of your resources max into the new product. And then when you get to see that your new product is generating over 25 or 20% of your revenue or your profits, then you can readjust resources to the right bucket. I didn't take the time to do that, right? If I would have taken the time to really dive into my finances, my P&L, and realize that my core offer is still the majority of our income, even though 80+% of our resources was in the new offer, I should have been smart enough to reallocate those resources halfway through the year and not having to wait until the end of 2025 to do that. Now, the good news is that it took me a year, it didn't take me a decade, and we are readjusting that, and we are readjusting the way that we do marketing. So you will see a lot of changes from my end, from my LinkedIn, from everything on how we do this, where we are now marketing appropriately to our core offer, which is the LinkedIn Coaches Accelerator Pro, renamed to the LinkedIn Coaches operating system as well. So let's move on to key lesson number 2. Lesson number two is that I quit YouTube too soon. Now, you're probably saying, well, Daniel, I'm watching a YouTube video right now. I'm like, yes, you are. And this is why we're back at it on YouTube. And let me first explain how I made this mistake so you can avoid making this mistake. So I started a YouTube channel, and even after creating probably over 20, 25 videos, 30 videos, I realized that the YouTube videos, or I was looking with my marketing team, that YouTube videos were only getting an average of 100 to 150 views per video. And on LinkedIn, I was getting an average of 5,000 to 10,000 views for a post. Now, when I look at the time and resources allocation, I at one point see that it takes me about 3 to 5 hours and probably like a couple $100 of money to hire an editor to build those resources. But to write a LinkedIn post that gets 100 times more views is 30 minutes, right, or less. So it's like you have like 1/10 of the time to get 100x the views. And so when you look at the numbers itself, it makes logical sense. YouTube does not give you the same return on investment that LinkedIn was doing it. But what I didn't realize back then, which I clearly understand now, is that all views are not created equal. And the reality is that the 100 people that were watching the YouTube channel, maybe that's you, maybe you're an old viewer and now rewatching this as we restart the YouTube channel, they're high intent viewership. These are people that are more in the middle and the bottom of the funnel who are now in the consideration stage of wanting to work with us. And so what we found out, and when we look into the data, is that even though YouTube had nowhere near the same amount of views as LinkedIn, the people that did watch those videos and did join sales calls were the ones who were the easiest closers in the world. They were like, Daniel, I watch all your videos, I'm ready to go. Price wasn't an objection, all of that was an objection. They were just ready to join and work with us. And it felt like it was a lot less sales that we needed to do because they were already educated and they saw the value in working with us. And they had seen testimonials and all of that. And so all that to say is that even though 100 views doesn't seem a lot, it doesn't matter because you just need a couple of clients a month to be able to make this successful. So what does that mean to you? Well, this goes back to something we teach our clients, which is a huge study that the Google did, which is called the 7-11-4 rule, that it takes 7 hours of content and 11 different times in 4 different platforms to go from a stranger to a buyer. And that videos, even though you see one view, but the video could be 20, 30 minutes long, that's like the equivalent of them consuming months of content on LinkedIn because they're spending 10 to 30 seconds reading your post. And so the quality of the consumption and the affinity that they have towards you dramatically increases with a middle of the funnel video like this. So what does that mean? It means that you should be thinking about creating like bigger content or long format content for your clients so they can get to know you. And I think this is something that I knew in 2025, which is the reason why we did YouTube in it, is that as more and more people come into the creator economy, which is what we're all building here, and more people use AI to create content, videos are going to help you stand out in 2026 and beyond, allow you to build that personal brand. So if you are not already doing videos, it's something worth considering. Now, caveat, if you're just starting out, going back to where you're still working full time, you're doing less than $10,000 a month, video could be a distraction. But if you're already doing more than $15,000, $20,000 a month and you're not doing video, this is something that you should really consider in 2026 and beyond as you build your personal brand. So my biggest is stop posting YouTube videos thinking that it wasn't worth my time. And it was. And it kind of touches back to my first point of not focusing on the Accelerator Pro because we reallocated the resources of the YouTube and the editor and all of that into promoting the LinkedIn Coaches Accelerator. And again, should have done that through YouTube. So YouTube is here and it's here to stay. And I need your help to hold me accountable to at least one video a week, So my goal is to publish over 50 videos in 2026. Yeah, and so if you want to see more of these videos, we have a lot more amazing content coming. We have guest speakers. We have all these things that we want to do that I encourage you to like and subscribe as we keep going down this list so that you can learn from my mistakes and grow your career coaching business. So the third mistake that I made, which is actually very similar to this one, is letting my Skool community die down. So give you guys a little bit of context. In 2024, I paid $40,000 to work with Alex Hormozi and the acquisitions.com team. And as you guys might know, Alex Hormozi is a big investor into Skool, super excited, and I wanted to get into the Skool wave, and I created a community. We have over 700 career coaches in this community. And in the beginning, we were very active and doing a lot of providing a lot of value. And then we let it kind of die out because candidly, our community manager decided to leave and start her own photography business, and we didn't think we needed to rehire somebody to do it, and one thing led to another. The community kind of was put on the sides and was ignored, and very similar to the YouTube strategy, the community was a very good middle of the funnel marketing strategy that allowed us to stay top of mind with our 700 plus community members as we did events and created content, we created community. So the mistake is very similar to YouTube. Not very active community thinking that it wasn't working, but the people that did become clients were people who are in our community first. So the learning lesson there is, yes, we're bringing back the community. In fact, we're going to double and triple down in the community, and even thinking about putting this into a paid community, not because we think that the community is going to be a money generating activity, but because we want people to pay for it to have more skin in the game, and and allowing us to put more resources, so reinvesting all of the money that we collect from the community to providing more and more value into the community, because we believe that would trickle down into more premium consulting, high ticket clients in the long term. So yes, very open on our marketing strategy here. To be honest with you, we're doubling down on the personal brand, and I'll even show you guys this board here that I created that our marketing tool. We're going to be doubling down on our content to over 50 pieces of content, throughout all of social media, which again, it's doubling down not only on the top of the funnel activities, but the middle of the funnel activities. So the lesson here for you is this, right? Building a community allows you to be top of mind. And the bigger you get as a company, if you think about Nike and Coca-Cola, what they're doing is that they are not focused on direct selling, which when you're starting out, that's how you survive, right? That's how you can get to $10,000, $20,000 a month and beyond, is direct selling. And it's really interesting because if you think about this, is that it's about, like, I don't know exactly the numbers, but my editor will find it and we'll put it here, but around 3% of people that you could sell to, let's say that there's a total addressable market TAM, about 3% of those people are ready to buy today. And when you create content on LinkedIn and you have call to action, that's who you're selling to, is 3%. So if it's 100 people, 3 people are ready to buy today. And then there's like about 17% of people who could be ready to buy your services or will need your services in the next 2 to 3 months, right? And then you have 80% or plus of people that could be your clients, that are your ideal clients, that are just not ready today. And that's where branding comes in. That's where 80% of the total addressable market comes in. So when you think about Coca-Cola or Nike, when they're running ads, they're not running ads for the people. They're not expecting you to be thirsty today. They're just letting you to stay top of mind. So when you are thirsty, you think of Coca-Cola. So when you are ready to buy shoes, you think of Nike, right? And that's the main thing that you have to think about, is that not like if you think about it, 97% of the people that you're working with, that you're targeting, are not going to buy your stuff today, no matter what. And so what you're trying to do here when you build a community and when you build Skool is that, or you have an email, like a newsletter, all you're doing is staying top of mind. So when those buyers eventually get to the point where they are ready to consume, to buy something that you're selling, that you're the top of mind, that you are the career coach that they want to hire. And that's where the community and middle of the funnel activities like you two become so important. Mistake number 4 is breaking my own niche rule. Now, I teach this in every single program that I have. Riches are in the niches, that you need to niche down, that the smaller you are, the more you need to niche down. And the only way to be the Goliaths of the industry is to niche down. But I made the mistake and thinking that I was too big to do that, and instead of niching down further, I expanded my broad. So let me explain to you what I mean. So I told you guys that I partnered with Adam Broda and Reno Perry to start the LinkedIn Coaches Accelerator, which we saw a gap in the market to be able to build a LinkedIn program that teaches people how to generate clients using the LinkedIn strategy. We talked about offer, LinkedIn marketing strategy, lead gen strategy, and sales strategy. And even though we had we are really good, probably the best in the market when it comes to career coaches. That is our niche. I'm a career coach. Adam Broda is a career coach. Reno comes from a career coach. All of our 3 other career coaches. All of my business coaching clients are career coaches. We thought that we would expand the LinkedIn Coaches Accelerator for all coaches and consultants, because we know that this same LinkedIn strategies that work so well for career coaches will work for other coaches and consultants, and they do. But just because you could sell to those audience doesn't mean that you should. And that was my mistake. We should have just stayed with career coaches, because we're able to provide an even better service than we would have to other coaches. So let's say that if we were to do the LinkedIn Coaches Accelerator solely for career coaches, which, by the way, that's what we're doing now. That program is now only for career coaches. I only work with career coaches. That program is like 98% like perfect, right? Like in the sense that everything is spoken to the audience. We know the audience because we've been there. Everything's so great and the alignment is there. But if we open it to coaches and consultants, it's like 80% there. And if you want to be world class, you have to go towards higher than 80%. And so that's the rule there. The riches are in the niches. The way you market it is better, less refunds, you can provide better service, you get better testimonials, all of the above. And when I went the mistake that I went and started speaking to a broader audience, all coaches and consultants, what I did was following. 1, I confused my original audience. I confused the career coaches audience that I've been cultivating for the last couple of years, and now they don't even know what I serve. Number 2, I am now one of many people in this in this market, meaning that there's a lot of other business coaches that's out there that I'm now competing who are bigger than I am, right? I am no longer the biggest fish in the pond. I'm now competing with people that do 50, $10 million a year. And that's not a market that I am the biggest fish or even willing to compare or like feel like that I am the best. And so that's a struggle, right? That is definitely a struggle. And so when I can go and niche down and make a blue ocean, right, of only working with career coaches, that's where my background and that's my experience, that's where my business partners' experience come from. We're able to provide ultimately a better service. Not only that, have a much clearer marketing strategy, which will serve both of our products. So, yeah, this is a big one. And what does that mean to you is that the smaller you are in revenue and follower count and team size and all of the above, the more you have to niche down. And it's interesting because one of the best videos I think I created in 2025 was all about niching, which we'll put in the show notes here if you want to watch this. I talk about how niching down has allowed me to like double and triple and 7x my business. So what's funny here is that when I took when I was a career coach, I'll give you a summary of that video so you can see this. And it's so silly that I have to relearn this lesson right now. It's like, I was a career coach. I was struggling to do $30,000 a year after leaving a 6-figure job at PepsiCo. And then I go into niching down to college students. My business kind of doubles. Now I'm doing like $60,000 a year. Then I go into helping international students, first generation, minority and international students. Now my business kind of doubles. I'm doing $150,000 a year. And then when I decided to make the scary move of only working with international STEM students that are looking to get their first job out of college, super scary, super niche, my business went from $150,000 a year to $1 million a year business. And that is a huge, like a 7x growth in my business in less than 2 years, just for making that niche. And to think that me going backwards on that and saying, okay, I'm going to broaden out my niche now that I'm not just a business coach for career coaches, I'm a business coach for anybody. All I did is slow me down. Again, not that I didn't generate revenue in 2025, I did. We had a really good year in a lot of things, but the business didn't grow as it's expected to grow because I didn't niche and I confused the audience. Then a lot of the refunds that we had were like most of the refunds that we had, if not all of them, were for non-career coaches because they felt like we weren't talking to them, and all the examples were career coaches because that's the examples that come from. So just a really hard lesson there to learn. The changes that I'm making is that we're going back. We only work with career coaches. Now there is about 5 different buyers personas that we work with because there's career coaches at different stages of their business. And I'll make a different video and a different time on the buyers persona. But my advice to you is that niche down. The riches are in the niches. Don't make the mistake thinking that, well, if I only niche down, I'm saying no to 99% of people. I'm like, yeah, you can't compete with other coaches that are bigger than you, have more testimonials than you, have a bigger team than you, have a bigger marketing budget than you, have all these resources that you don't. The only way to compete against those Goliaths is to niche down. So that's a hard lesson, and I'm fixing it in 2026, and super focused, super excited. Career coaches doubling and tripling down in 2026. Now, let's talk about the 5th cup that I made in 2025, and this one has to do more about my leadership and my management. So in this cup, I waited too long to make a leadership decision. So let me give you guys some context. I have a team of over 10 employees, and a lot of them have been with me for years, for 5 years now. Now think about it. I didn't even have my first employee I hired about 5 years ago. So even Salome, who's been with me, who was my second hire, is still with me today. And a lot of my core team is still here with me today. And I love my team and I appreciate their hard work, their loyalty, and so on. But here's the mistake, right? I have amazing team members that have amazing will. But a lot of them, I hired them straight out of college. Or even when they were in college, they started with me as interns and have now grown into being in the leadership roles. And the thing about the marketing department is that I'm just good at LinkedIn, and I'm learning YouTube, and I'm learning paid ads, and I'm learning building communities or lead magnets and email and all of this. And everything that I learned on LinkedIn, I had already shared this with my marketing manager that has been with me for a very long time. And I felt like we weren't getting a lot of traction in marketing, and I feel like the company's overall bottleneck was marketing. And it's been marketing for like 2 years, and I'm very honest, and my mistakes in 2025 didn't help that, right? It just extended that being a constraint in the business. And I knew in my gut that the right thing that I needed to do is that I needed to bring an outside person that had experience in marketing, that had managed a marketing department, that had experience with ads, that knows video editing, that had all these capabilities that my current marketing manager didn't have. And because I care so much about this person, I extended the decision over a year, thinking that we could just build those capabilities together and we can grow the business. But here's the reality: your business will grow to the knowledge that your team has. And so that's why a lot of entrepreneurs become the bottleneck in their business, and they need to bring in outside consultants or outside hires to be able to do this. And I was making this an emotional decision because I did not want to change this. Now, let me tell you what happened. At the end of 2025 or last year, we interviewed people and we brought in a new marketing manager, a new marketing director that had all this experience. And I had to have really hard conversations with my old marketing manager. And here's where we are now. I think she also understands where I was coming from. She also understood what the business needed, and doesn't change the relationship that I have with her. Like I'm still her biggest fan. I am an advocate because it wasn't a lack of will. Like, she was working really hard. She tried really hard. It's that me and her didn't have the capabilities to solve this problem. And so bringing in someone was what the business needed to be able to elevate it. So I say that because I made the mistake of waiting too long. And what I should have done is had the hard conversation sooner and brought it in. It doesn't mean that this person, like my old marketing manager, shouldn't be in the business. In fact, one of the things that I had her do is that I had her be involved in hiring her manager and her direct report. And now she sees this as a learning opportunity that she can learn from someone with a lot of experience, because the more the company grows, the more opportunities it's going to create. And that's something we've seen over and over again, how we've seen Salome, who was like essentially my VA working for less than $4 an hour, is now a partner in the business, right? Has 10% of the company and is now the COO of the company, because as the business grows, which is a huge part of it, she grows, opportunities grows, we all make more money, we all make more impact, and so on. So that's the fifth lesson. Is like, I waited too long to bring in someone that I really needed to bring, and it affected my business, which is probably, like, if we had someone with experience, they wouldn't have let me stop YouTube. They wouldn't have let me stop the Skool community. They wouldn't have let me be confusing on the marketing and go away from the niche. In fact, if I would have hired the right marketing director a year earlier, I think 2025 would have been a whole new year. And so I really think about 2025 as a year of just learning lessons. It's a year of kind of like a plateaued, and that's exciting. And look, it's a learning lesson, but that's what's exciting now, is that I think we're ready to grow into the next level. We have a new marketing director that started about 3 months ago, which has really set the foundation of what you guys are going to see in 2026. We're restarting YouTube. We're redoing the community over again. We're going to be, we have buyers persona. We are doubling down on our niche of career coaches. We have a really, really solid team. I'm super excited about the culture that we're building, the partners that we have. We brought Adam Marino, who are now partners of Opni and Sit, and the board of directors, and are also coaches inside of our programs. So many things are coming in 2026. So if you're a career coach and you are also on board of growing and building your business to be profitable, scalable, and impactful, and you want to normalize career coaching, then I invite you to be part of this journey, this community. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're not already in the Skool community, I would suggest you join. Even though right now it's technically kind of like slow and dead, the people that are in the community now, when we make it 10 times better, will be grandfathered in, will get a huge, it'll be worth it for you. So I promise you that. So if you enjoy and like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video next week, because we're going to bring it every single week moving forward. Let's go.